Anti-racism means to me the ability for humans to feel comfortable and safe and ensure that there's a real sense of equality, equity and inclusion in living in our normal lives. In the music industry, there's been a movement of anti-racist musicians, artists and creatives who understand that there's value in diversity of thought and diversity of place. What sparked my activism was living in Aston, growing up next to Handsworth Lascelles. We were in this myriad of diverse communities, yet in the centre in the 80s and early 90s, often there was racism. So as children growing up, we didn't really understand racism. I went to a school that was 30% black, 30% Asian, 30% white. So racism for us didn't really exist. And we only really understood it when we started going to the city centre or slightly south of the city, or even north parts like King's Standing or Woolly Castle. And I learnt about racism at an early age, getting chased by the NF outside the old Central Library. And I was being chased as a young 14-year-old boy thinking, I don't understand this. It's never been part of my DNA. Yeah, and after getting chased by the NF, it sparked my understanding of what racism and anti-racism could be. As I said, in the music industry, they were very, very connected to the anti-racist movement. There was anti-racist festivals in the 80s, and obviously the Anti-Nazi League, which we marched just after the millennium. But racism exists everywhere, and what we need to do collectively is to ensure that we are more powerful as anti-racists, to ensure that the right wing and those who have those particular thoughts, those intergenerational thoughts, they're properly explained in terms of culture, migration, and also positivity that migration brings to the UK. If you look at the core values of the record store around equality, purpose, collaboration, opportunity, those values are embedded in anti-racism. And so the music, the people, the culture that we built within the organisation ultimately is anti-racist. Now we're at a slightly more posher office in Custard Factory, and we do slightly more global ventures, but a bedrock of the company is to make sure that it doesn't matter what historical language, culture or place you come from, you have those opportunities just like everybody else. And anti-racism, equality, inclusion and diversity sit at the heart of everything we do. I have quite a few anti-racist heroes and inspirations. So if I look at within my own Indian culture, anti-racists like Bhagat Singh were quite powerful in my house. I'm from Birmingham, so people like Benjamin Zephaniah, who was always anti-racist, not just in his thought-provoking lyrics and poetry, but just the way he lived. And then obviously some of the more global, interesting people, Bobby Seale from the Black Panther movement, and just the slightly more popular ones, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they were all part of my early days in terms of just understanding how people can make movements on the back of inequality. An anti-racist city should look and feel like a place where people of all colour, cultures and history should feel a place of safety, comfort, but also feel part of the DNA. We need better civic leadership to embed anti-racism. We need more organisations like BRIG and the Anti-Nazi League to ensure that the messaging is passed on to future generations, so it doesn't just, it's not clogged up in the 80s. We want new stories from new people. We are a global majority city in Birmingham, and young people can be ultimately the driving force for this city that we duly care about.
Beyond racism, racism and beyond, anti-racism has to be the Let's build a city where everyone belongs. Beyond racism, racism and beyond. Anti-racism has to be the norm. A world of understanding, that's what we crave. From every corner, every land, a tapestry woven by every hand. Harmonious call, we rise and stand.